So we have been waiting for this report for a long time, and I welcome the release of this report. And I also welcome the findings and the recommendations that I heard and that I read in the press release. Of course, I had not had time to read the full 250 pages of the report, but I think the key findings confirm what many of us already knew, and the recommendations reiterate what many of us were calling for, and that is namely that there has to be accountability process if we are to have a better future. Victims, survivors and their families need an accountability process that is credible and that is independent. And that in the present context of Sri Lanka, even today, the process of accountability can be credible and independent only if there's a very strong international component to it. And the High Commissioner for Human Rights, in his recommendation, has very clearly said that the future accountability process has to have a strong international component. So now I think it's up to the Human Rights Council members, when they are going to debate about the report on 30th of September and possibly pass a resolution at the end of the council, to take note of the findings of this report and the recommendations of the High Commissioner, and to endorse the idea of a hybrid system with a very strong international participation of international judges, international lawyers, international prosecutors and international investigators. The Human Rights Council cannot afford to ignore this report, which is a report that they themselves mandated in 2014 March. And the Sri Lankan government on its part has to show that if it is serious about cooperating with the UN, it has to take note of the findings and it has to take forward the recommendations of this report, particularly the involvement of the international judges, lawyers, prosecutors and investigators. The Sri Lankan government has traditionally said that they can cooperate with the UN, and that cooperation has been restricted to accepting financial assistance, training, material assistance, monitoring and advice. But that is not enough. So if the Sri Lankan government is serious about cooperation with the international community, if the Sri Lankan government is serious about listening and being sensitive to the aspirations, expectations of the victims and their families, they have to agree to international involvement in future accountability and reconciliation process.
Thank you.
Thank you.